Welcome back, Rich Minds. It's your boy RHENO coming back to you with another video. And today's topic is gonna be 5 reasons God took it all away. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. Listen, y'all. This video is simply about all the reasons of why God took it all away. Yes, sir. I need y'all to tune in and listen to this one, okay? So let me say this, y'all. I'm not just getting all on you, all right? But I do feel like we got to start taking some accountability. I do feel like we got to start taking charge in what we've done, okay? We got to stop blaming it on everybody else. Sometimes it's not the enemy. Sometimes it's not the devil. Sometimes it's not our friends, family. Sometimes it's us. And so I need you to realize this video is not to degrade or make you feel bad. I also want you to realize that there's nothing wrong with taking accountability and saying, you know what? I did this. Yes, sir. Nobody else ain't do this. I did this. All right. Now, I also want to add to that by saying this. Sometimes it's not always you. All right. Sometimes it can be simply that God is setting you up for something better. Okay? Sometimes God is putting you in a better position. And sometimes he calls you to lose certain things so you can have a greater gain. All right? So realize that. It can be that too. Okay? And most importantly, this is all going to make you stronger, make you a better person. All right? It's going to make you a stronger and better person. So I need y'all to tune in. If this video sounds like I'm talking directly to you, make sure you drop in the comments. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments and say, RHENO, you talking directly to me. All right. And with that being said, if any one of these signs or reasons resonate with you, make sure you leave a thumbs up on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. All right. So we're going to get directly into the first reason of why God took it all away. So number 1, it's going to be this. You didn't appreciate it. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. Listen, y'all. You didn't appreciate it. Now, I'm guilty of this. Before I get on y'all, I'm going to get on myself. I'm guilty of this. All right? Sometimes we don't appreciate the things like air, breath, our fingers, our legs. All right? Our head, having a clear mind. Just the simple things. The simple blessings that we have. Y'all know I met a guy back in 2017, I'm sorry. His name was Randy Hamilton. And I actually purchased the car from him. I purchased my second car. It was my Chevy Impala 2005. I'll never forget it. This guy had no limb. I think it was no right limb. But he was fixing cars and he had one arm. Bad dude. I'm talking about one arm. But he didn't have a limb. And he said, man, I'd give anything to have another limb. And so what I'm saying is that blessing, I'm sure he probably didn't think that he would ever lose a limb. Nobody wake up thinking, yeah, I'm going to lose a limb today. I'm going to lose a leg today. And it's going to be all good for the rest of my life. Listen, we don't get more legs. We don't get more limbs. Our body, every piece on our body is precious. I need you to realize that. So I understood that this man, he had something, and I'm sure he took it for granted at one point. See, sometimes we don't appreciate our blessings. We don't appreciate the things that God has given us. I tell you all the time where I've done it, where I didn't appreciate my blessings, where I didn't appreciate the things that I had. Look, y'all, I was in college. I was used to luxury apartment living in Dunwoody, Georgia. Dunwoody is like a suburban area surrounding Atlanta. I was living in Dunwoody, Georgia while I was in college, and college paid for that. That was really expensive, but college actually paid for it. And they was like, look, you just gonna pay back. You're gonna pay it back within your student loans. All right. College paid for that, and it was time for me to get my own apartment. I looked at some other apartments. I was aware that, all right, I'm probably not gonna be able to stay in Dunwoody because it's a bit more expensive. But what I said was, I at least want to get something that's like, you know, that I want to at least get something that's straight. You know what I'm saying? I want to get something that's all right. And I looked at some other places, and they were just so expensive. So I ended up coming to this particular place in Decatur. And when I went to Decatur, I looked at this spot, and I was like, no, I don't want to stay there. I had done got a little bougie, you know what I'm saying? I had done got a little, you know, I just had got a little bougie. I was used to living a certain type of lifestyle. Now, mind you, I come from the gutter. And when I say I come from the gutter, I come from, playing outside with no shoes. I come from noodles and sausages. I come from eating sandwiches, for dinner. I come from that, right? I come from staying in the cabin. I come from staying in the brick house. I come from staying in the trailer. So I was already accustomed to it. But see, when you get one thing about humans, we get accustomed and adjusted to our environment. I had got adjusted to this luxury apartment living environment to where I didn't understand how to appreciate a blessing, an apartment, right? Realizing that it still was a blessing, but it wasn't the blessing that I wanted. A lot of us, we don't appreciate the blessings that God has given us. A lot of us don't appreciate, the small blessing. Just to be able to turn your key and call a place home, it's a blessing. Yes, sir. Just to be able to turn your ignition, right? That key that you put inside your car ignition and turn it and it crank up and it can take you from point A, point B, C, D, Z. That's a blessing. But just because we don't got the new Bentley, just because we don't got the new Benz, I don't want that. Yes, sir. I got me a Honda. That's all I got. I just got a little Volvo. But he got the new Benz. He got the new this. Man, forget all that. Long as you got something to drive, that's a blessing. Long as you have somewhere to stay, that's a blessing. Now, there's nothing wrong with setting goals for yourself. There's nothing wrong with having ambitions. There's nothing wrong with having aspirations. Don't get that twisted. I'm not saying stay in that position and you're wrong for wanting more. Never said that. What I'm simply saying is you do want to appreciate the blessings that God has already given you. That's gratitude, because he will give you more. But you got to first understand how to be appreciative of what he's giving you. All right. Listen, y'all, if that first reason resonated with you, I need you to drop in the comments and say, RHENO, you talking directly to me. Yes, sir. Drop in the comments and say, RHENO, you talking to me. I need somebody to understand something. God will take your blessings away. It also says in the scripture that he will giveth and he will taketh. All right. So realize this. The blessings that you have and the blessing that you had, it's only a representation of how much you appreciated them. I need you to appreciate the things that you do have, okay? If you appreciate God, make sure you drop in the comments and say, I appreciate you, God. Yes, sir. Drop in the comments and say, I appreciate you, God. Okay? So number 2, y'all, we're getting directly to it. Number 2 is going to be this. You mismanage your resources. So I say this all the time, y'all. You will lose what you don't manage, okay? You will lose whatever you don't manage. I need you to understand something. If you don't manage $1,000, why would God give you 10? All right? A lot of us, we get in this mindset of, man, God, if you can just give me $1 million and you just blew a whole 1,000, why would God give you $1 million if you can't manage 1,000? Understand that. That's very important to your wealth. That's very important to you, right? That's very important to your blessings. So if you don't understand that, then you're never going to have as much as you can have, right? And your blessings will always be swept away. You're going to have to understand that. And again, I'm guilty of this as well in terms of not appreciating the blessings that I have. I've always been kind of good with managing, but management is a skill and it comes with learning over time. You have to want to learn. Understand this, y'all. Don't mismanage your resources or else God will not give you any more and you will lose your blessings. All right. Number 3, y'all. Number 3 is very important. And let me say this too before I get deep into number 3. I know it's somebody looking at this video. I know it's somebody watching this video and they saying, man, RHENO, but none of this is for me, man. And God took my blessings away. I didn't do nothing wrong. I was a loyal servant like Job. I was a loyal servant like Joseph. I didn't do nothing wrong. So RHENO, what is the sign for me? What is the reason for me? I don't understand it. And number 3 is going to be specifically this. God was preparing you for a bigger blessing. Yes, sir. I know I'm talking to somebody. All right. If I'm talking to you, make sure you drop in the comments and say, RHENO, you talking to me. Listen, I need you to realize God was preparing you for a bigger blessing. Give me an example, RHENO. What you mean? All right, listen. A lot of people, during the pandemic, they was working a job, right? Did you know out that pandemic, I think more millionaires was made than the entire time that we have documented? In that pandemic, it was more millionaires made. What am I saying? God was preparing a lot of people for a bigger blessing because people was getting laid off their jobs. People was getting furloughed, right? There was only keeping essential workers. Okay, realize this, y'all. Just because you got laid off your job doesn't mean that you did something wrong. Sometimes God is preparing you for a bigger blessing. He's saying, look, I don't need you in this environment right here. I need you in this environment. I don't need you in this space right here. I need you in this space, right? Sometimes God will prepare you for a bigger blessing by cutting people out your life. Yes, sir, by taking you outside of a particular building or facility, from taking you around certain people, causing you to be isolated, but really it's only preparing you for a bigger blessing. See, if you still had them same type of people around you, you wouldn't be able to take care of the blessing. If you were still inside that facility, yes, sir, if you were still inside that facility, you wouldn't be able to harness that blessing. So what's going on right now? God is preparing you for a bigger and better blessing. Yes, sir. Somebody drop in the comments and say, God is preparing me. All right, make sure you drop in the comments and say, God is preparing me. Because, see, a lot of us, we don't understand and realize when it's time to get up, get out, and do our own thing. Get up, get out, and do our own thing. And that's very important. Okay, so number 3 is going to be simply this, y'all. God was preparing you for a bigger blessing. All right, you may see this through a job that you just lost, and guess what? You probably about to become an entrepreneur. You'll see this from losing a spouse, a loved one, right? And guess what? Now you got a whole nother relationship, and it's so much more better. It's so much more healthier, right? You got a whole nother marriage, and it's so much more healthier. You ain't with somebody who insecure. You ain't with somebody who down in you. You ain't with somebody who taking you all through there. You in a better position. Right? Understand that, y'all. So God was preparing you for a bigger blessing. That's why he took that old blessing away. Yes, sir. Somebody drop in the comments and say amen. Because I know I was the revelation to somebody else's motivation. Yes, sir. I know I was the revelation to somebody else's motivation. I need you to realize something. God is preparing you for a bigger blessing. Number 4, you wasn't ready for that blessing. I'm getting back on y'all now. I'm getting right back on y'all. God, you wasn't ready for the blessing that God was about to dispense in your life, so he had to move on. Yes, sir, he had to move on. He coming back around. He coming right back around, but you wasn't ready for it, right? Listen, y'all, that's equivalent to this. Let's just say, you've been praying for this new man. For all my ladies, you've been praying for this new woman. For all my fellas, you've been praying. You've been praying, but you still got an addiction problem. You still got that insecurity problem. You still have that problem within inside you, that you still dealing with that trauma, right? You still dealing with it. And see, right now, you're not whole yet. And it's okay. It's okay to not be whole. But what we're going to do is work towards becoming whole. Okay? So you ain't whole right now, but you praying for somebody that's whole. And see, God haven't blessed you with it yet, because if you bring them into your life, or if you attract them into your life, whenever you have them, you're going to lose them because you haven't found yourself yet. Yes, sir, I know I'm talking to somebody right now. You're going to lose them because you haven't found yourself yet. You're going to lose that job because you haven't found who you were yet. You're going to lose that opportunity because you haven't found who you are yet. Anything that you touch, you're going to lose. So instead of wasting your time, God say, you know what? You're not ready. Let me come back around. Let me come back around. Just like when you're inside that office, right? I don't care what office you in. Maybe you in the DFAS office. Yes, sir. I don't care what office you in. You in some type of office, the doctor's office, the dentist's office. You in some type of office. And if you're not ready, they say, you know what? We're going to come back around to you. All right, hopefully you're ready, but we're going to come back around to you. And that's the same way how God operates. If you're not ready, he's going to come back around. He ain't forget about you. God ain't forget about you. But see, he took the blessing away because you wasn't ready. All right, that's a big one, y'all. Okay, but listen, if you ready for that blessing, make sure you drop in the comments and say, God, I'm ready. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments and say, God, I'm ready. Okay, and so number 5, y'all, gonna be the last one. Number 5 is this right here. You're being tested. All right, you're being tested. Maybe you going through your Job period. Maybe you going through your Joseph period. Let me bring something to y'all attention. Right? Joseph was one of God's prophets, right? Joseph went through so much. Joseph was sold into captivity. He was thrown in the pit, All right, he was thrown in the pit. They took him to the captivity. After that, he was in prison. He was lied on. He went through all these different things. And he seen with his own eyes, he seen that vision. And he seen when God said, no, I'm going to do something great for you. You're going to be a king. You're going to be able to feed your whole family. You're going to do some great things, Joseph. But how can you see that when you're in prison? How can you see that when people lying on you? How can you see that when you in that pit looking up and all you can do is look up? Because right now you down on the ground. I need you to understand something. You being tested. Same thing with Job. Job lost it all, but he was only being tested. So listen, God took it all away because you being tested. This right here, I'm back talking to my people who ain't did nothing wrong. I'm back talking to my Jobs. I'm back talking to my Josephs. Somebody drop in the comments and say, I'm going through my Job period. All right? Or if you going through your Joseph period. Somebody drop in the comments and say, I'm going through my Job period. Or if the Joseph one connect with you more, make sure you drop in the comments and say, I'm going through my Joseph period. Lied on, being slandered, right? A lot of us go through it. A lot of us go through our Job moment. A lot of us go through our Joseph moment. We go through it. But I need you to realize that you're only being tested. God is only testing you right now. But this going to make you a stronger, bigger, and better person. Okay? So with that being said, y'all, if any one of these reasons resonated with you, y'all make sure y'all leave a thumbs up on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. Okay? Listen, God took it all away, but he's making you a bigger and better person. For all my people who ain't did nothing, God took it all away. But guess what? You ain't appreciate that blessing. For all my people who wanted more and forgot to appreciate the smaller blessings, I need you to understand that, listen, he gonna come right back around. He coming back around. But you gotta first appreciate the blessing. And you gotta first understand that you worth having the blessing. But first you gotta be ready for it. All right? So understand that. So I want to conclude this video by saying this video was specifically for you if any one of these reasons resonated with you. All right? You can check out any one of my links in my bio. Check out any one of my books, Rich Mentality, Fairly Unequal, Traumatized by Love, as well as 8 Steps to Self-Publishing a Successful Book. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Keep a rich mentality. Peace.